You were never supposed to be happy. Not by accident, not because of bad luck, not because you haven't tried hard enough. You were never supposed to be happy because the brain inside your skull was never designed to produce happiness. It was designed to produce survival, and those are not the same thing. Think about the last time you achieved something you had worked for, a promotion, a relationship, a goal you had been chasing for months. There was a moment, brief, electric, real, when you felt it, and then it faded, and you were already looking at the next thing. That is not weakness, that is engineering. In 1971, psychologists Philip Brickman and Donald Campbell published a paper that quietly changed how scientists understood human emotion. They introduced a concept they called hedonic adaptation, the observation that human beings return to a relatively stable level of happiness regardless of what happens to them. Lottery winners, paraplegics, people who had gained enormous wealth, and people who had lost everything. Within a year, sometimes within months, their reported happiness levels were nearly identical to what they had been before the event. The thing that happened, whatever it was, barely mattered in the long run. Your brain treats happiness like a threat. Not consciously, not intentionally, but functionally, the systems inside your skull are built to neutralize positive states as quickly as possible. Because a relaxed, satisfied brain is a brain that is not scanning for danger. And a brain that is not scanning for danger can get you killed. Consider what neuroscientist Robert Sapolsky spent 30 years documenting at Stanford. Sapolsky studied stress, specifically the relationship between the stress hormone cortisol and the primate brain. What he found was uncomfortable and illuminating. The stress response, he argued, is not a system that went wrong in modern humans. It is a system that is working exactly as it was designed. The problem is that it was designed for a world of acute physical threats, predators, injuries, starvation, and it is now running inside a body that receives a constant stream of modern inputs: deadlines, social comparison, financial pressure, uncertainty about the future. Your brain cannot tell the difference between a lion and a bad email. It registers both as threats. It releases cortisol in response to both. It stays in low-level alert for both. The evolutionary system that was supposed to activate for 30 seconds during a predator attack is now running as a background process for 30 years through the chronic stress of modern life. But that is only half the story. The other half is something psychologist Rick Hanson has called the negativity bias, and it may be the single most consequential design feature of the human mind. The brain, Hanson argues, is like velcro for negative experiences and teflon for positive ones. A negative event is processed faster, stored more deeply, and remembered longer than an equivalent positive event. You can have 9 good things happen in a day and 1 bad thing, and the bad thing will dominate your memory of that day by a significant margin. Why? Because it had to. For your ancestors, missing a positive experience, a good meal, a warm afternoon, a moment of pleasure, cost them almost nothing. Missing a negative experience, a predator in the grass, a rival at the edge of camp, a poisoned food source, could cost them everything. The brain that paid more attention to threats survived. The brain that lingered in pleasure did not. Over hundreds of thousands of generations, the threat-focused brain won every single time. You inherited that brain. This is what evolutionary biologists call an adaptation lag, a gap between the environment your biology was built for and the environment you actually live in right now. Your negativity bias was a precision instrument on the open savanna of East Africa. In a modern world of social media, performance reviews, and endless comparative success metrics, it is a wrecking ball aimed directly at your peace of mind. Have you ever noticed that a single critical comment outweighs 20 genuine compliments? That you can replay an embarrassing moment from 10 years ago in vivid detail, but struggle to recall moments of real joy with the same clarity? That you can spend an entire successful week working towards something and then lie awake at night focused on the one thing that went wrong? That is not a character flaw. That is your brain doing exactly what it was optimized to do: cataloging threats, prioritizing danger, scanning obsessively for what could go wrong. The worst part is that it does not stop even when you get what you want.